I am making Montreal seasoning at home. A viewer sent me this, oh man, I don't know, several years ago, and I'm like, oh, I gotta make that. So, Montreal seasoning, gotta love it. This recipe is in our Dining on a Dime Cookbook, Volume 2, on page 344. Pepper, paprika. Now, it's 2 and 1 in our recipe. So I'm just multiplying this to make it a huge batch because, well, we love it so much. I'm just not gonna make, one little thing. So getting a huge stinking batch of this. Instead of 2 tablespoons, what I'm doing is 1/4 cup. And then instead of 1 tablespoon, I am doing 4 tablespoons or 1/8 cup. And then garlic and onion powder and dill, salt. And then I don't have any coriander that's crushed, so I'm gonna run to the store and get some, but I'll just put all this in here and then I'll add it later. Okay, stir it all together. Now, you don't even have to use a bowl. I'm just doing a bowl so you guys can see. What I would do is I would just pour it all straight into here, and one of the best inventions ever, a canning funnel. But then what I would do is just go in and pour each ingredient in here, not even waste dirtying a bowl. I mean, you can, but, and then, let me show you. Just shake it up, and there you have your Montreal seasoning. Okay, let me show you how simple it is to make this seasoned salt. So, I have my salt shaker here. I have a big one because I use seasoned salt literally 10 times a day. I mean, we put this on everything. So all I do, now the recipe is in the description below, but I just add some salt, I don't know, about 1/3 of salt. Then I add just a little bit of paprika because I like the paprika. You don't have to have it in there if you don't want to. My onion powder, my black pepper. Now I'm doing this over a plate. Normally I do this over the sink, but I'm doing this over the plate. This is another tip. Stop making messes. When you're filling stuff, don't do it over the counter, do it over the sink, okay? And then this is my garlic powder. Gonna get that in. Okay, then I halfway through just give it a good shake to get the first little bit mixed up in there. Then I just do it again. 1 minute and 30 seconds so far. So this is gonna be literally a 2-minute process. And then you're not paying retail. Let's get that all mixed up. Then you're not paying retail for your seasoned salt. Now normally, I just made a mistake. Normally I don't fill it this high. Normally I only fill it this high so that it mixes. But look, I'm not gonna freak out. I'm just gonna take a knife and just stir it in there. Just like so. And there, you can see it's all mixed in. Recipes in our Dining on a Dime Cookbook, Volume 1, on page 393. So I just looked on Walmart and it is $4.12 for $3 for 8 ounces. And this is about 8 ounces right here. I made this for probably, so this is $1 and I only use about this much per seasoned salt. So maybe 20 cents, 40 cents 5 cents, 45, maybe 50 cents, maybe 50 cents. And I save $2.50 for literally 1 to 2 minutes worth of work, okay? And it took me actually a little bit longer because I'm explaining it, but there you go, seasoned salt right there, super simple. I am making ranch dressing dip mix, Dining on a Dime, volume 1. I guess for this one I will actually measure it. So 4 tablespoons of onion flakes is 1/4 cup. So we got that. Then we have garlic powder, onion powder, paprika. The recipe is in the description below on our 10 homemade seasonings post on our website, livingonadime.com. Parsley. And cayenne pepper. I have had person after person tell me this is the only ranch they will use. Yeah, you can double, triple, quadruple it. Now this is sour cream, and this is 2 cups of sour cream, and I'm using all sour cream for this one instead of part sour cream and part mayonnaise, just because I need to use up the sour cream. Okay, and then we are going to let this chill before we serve it. And we will serve this with veggies or chips, whatever you want. And I forgot, I'm gonna add a little bit of seasoned salt because that's what. Okay, let's figure out the math on how much this is going to cost us versus buying the taco packets, okay? Okay, so I have my 1/4 cup measure here. And well, wait a minute, let's just pour it into here. Okay. So I have just under 2 cups. If I would have filled this all the way, it would have been 2 cups for, let's say, $1. So this cost me $1, but if I buy the taco seasoning packets individually, it is, so there is 96 teaspoons in 2 cups, which costs me about $1, 75 cents to $1, which is the equivalent of taco seasoning packets. So I saved $2.75 by making my own homemade. Now you might say, Tara, okay, that's $2 is not that big of a deal. Now, normally I don't go through all this. I'm just doing this to show you guys. This is not normal. I just pour it all in here and shake it up. This literally took me about 45 seconds worth of work to fill this. But here's the beauty of it. If I run out of taco seasoning, I don't have to worry about if I have taco packets, because I just have these 6 ingredients already on hand. These are I have about 10 main seasonings that I use all the time, not including salt and pepper. So 12 if you include salt and pepper. So by having these on hand all the time, I can just make my own if I need to, and I don't have to worry about, let's say I want tacos tonight. Oh, well, I don't have a taco season packet. Well, it doesn't matter because I can just make my own. But work this out. This is $162 an hour I earn by making my own homemade seasoning. How did I figure that? I saved $2.75 with 1 minute worth of work. $2.75 times 59 minutes is $162 an hour. for my labor and my time. So, you know, that's a darn tootin' good wage if you ask me. All right, I'm making lemon pepper for a gift mix. Now this recipe comes out of my Dine on a Dime Volume 1, and I'm kind of adapting it a little bit because things have changed since I came up with this recipe 25 years ago. Okay, so the first thing we're going to have is our black pepper. Now, first of all, I am halving the recipe because I'm just making this for us, but I just want to show you how to make it a gift mix. Okay. And you can use onion flakes. I don't happen to have any onion flakes, so I'm using onion powder. And I don't have any coriander seeds, so I am using cumin instead. Guys, I'm all about substitutions. And then dried thyme. And because I'm making this for my husband, I'm making this lemon garlic, black pepper, lemon garlic seasoning. Because my husband loves garlic. Oh, there's just a little bit left in there. Shoot, let's just dump it in there. Okay, there we go. The next change I'm making is, when I wrote this, they didn't have these wonderful little True Lemon packets, but now they do. And these are so stinking handy, it's not even funny. I love them. And I will link it in the description below. So I am going to use these instead of lemon peel. Now you could still just dry lemon peel and use it if you want, but I don't know how I guesstimated so perfectly, but it looks like these are going to be the right amount for what I need. So I'm just gonna dump the rest of those in with that one. I'm gonna mix this around. And I put them in little jars like this. Now, if you want, a full batch can go in a jar like this. You can put the lid on like this, but here's a little secret trick. Did you know that a peanut butter lid also fits on top? So, whoops, if I didn't overfill it, which I did. Okay, there. So, peanut butter lid also fits on top. Well, usually. Okay, why is it not working this time? Okay, so I thought a peanut butter lid fit, but it's not. So that's really strange because it must be the different peanut butters, because I did have a peanut butter lid fit. All right, so I'm gonna put it in like this. Then I'm going to decorate it. You can either wrap it with cellophane or put ribbon around it, however you want to do that. My lemon pepper recipe is in my Dining on a Dime cookbook, Volume 1, on page 460. All right, I am making gingerbread spice because I have a whole bunch of recipes that I'm making. So there's my cinnamon, and I'm just pouring it straight into my little container. You don't have to, you can mix it in the bowl if you want, but I'm just going to mix it all in the container. Okay, so there's my cinnamon and my ginger, and now my nutmeg. Oops. So there's the rest of my nutmeg, and then my allspice, my cloves. Normally I don't add cardamom, but since I happen to have some, I'm just gonna add that in. Now, like I said, normally I don't use that. Now, I'm going to tap it in there. Now here's a little trick. If tapping doesn't go well, take a straw and just shove it in there like this. And if you want, you can mix it all together before it gets in there. And what I would do is shake up the bottom part just a little bit. Okay, I should have just mixed it in a bowl. Would have been easier because I didn't realize it was going to be so full. Okay, just going to take a straw if I want. And there we go. Now, normally I would do this over the sink because then I just rinse all this down the sink that spills, but because I'm showing you on video, I couldn't. So there is my gingerbread spice. If it calls for gingerbread spice, just use this amount. If it calls for the individual spices, just add up all the spices. So let's say it has a teaspoon of cinnamon, a teaspoon of cloves, and a teaspoon of allspice, and a teaspoon of nutmeg. Okay, then you would just add all this together, so it's 4 teaspoons. So you would use 4 teaspoons if it has them individually listed. If it doesn't, just use a teaspoon for. Okay, I thought I'd show you what I'm doing. My neighbor gave me a huge bunch of celery. It was just beautiful from her garden. And what I've done is I put the leaves in my oven at 170 degrees and I'm dehydrating them. This was the first batch I started, then I scooted them over, then I got the next batch started. And I'm gonna grind these up and make celery salt. Pretty soon, these are almost, some of them aren't quite done. So I'm gonna leave these for probably 15 more minutes, and then these will go probably another 30 minutes and then maybe another hour. All right, for my homemade celery salt, I've got my celery here, and I'm just going to get it all smashed and run it through my colander and see all the big chunks. Now you can run this through the food processor if you want. I just don't feel like getting the food processor out, so I'm just doing it the easy way. See, then all the stems. There we go. Then just going to add my salt, and I'm going to mix it together like this. Now, one of my friends, my friend Lois, says this is one of her favorite seasonings, veg style, and celery is the #1 ingredient in it after salt. And then there's parsley and carrot and spinach and dill, soy sauce and molasses and onion all in there. So you could add all those things in there and have this salt if you want. I'm just going to put this, I think it'll go through, maybe. Yeah. All right, then I'm just gonna fill my jar, and then I have my celery salt. All right, there is my homemade celery salt.